Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to the last game of the day. That sounds funny since it's only game 2, but we only had 2 coming up for you. And here our second match will be the retry on the Dire side, facing off against the Qpandas Red Pandas. I am Zyori, once again joined by Cinderin. And here we are, Nature's Prophet first pick, Visage OD grabbed by the Red Qpandas. What's going on here, Cinderin?
I don't know what's going on right here, but it's interesting to see OD being picked early again. We've had a little hiatus for the hero in the last few games we cast. We didn't really get to see it picked. Sometimes it was banned, sometimes it was ignored. But this time it seems like Qpad valued this hero highly, and like you said, I think you said this match would be the battle of who has more stand-ins, and TR don't have any.
Yeah, they're all here tagged up, ready to go. They've been a little stand-in heavy, but yeah, they've got their full roster. The Qpandas, though, unfortunately, they only have 2 of their real members. RMN, Villic, and someone I've never seen, SLHZ, going to be their 5th stand-in. Not sure who that is.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm not sure either, but hopefully he'll show a good performance here to convince people that he is a player worthy of playing in Qpad Red Pandas. I needed to find the word there, but
so I'm pretty sure he's a player. That part I think he can do.
He needs to prove that he's a player. Okay. Yeah. Well, the retry, however, this is a really interesting draft. This is like a flashback to TI3. Prophet IO as the first 2 was something Alliance was running incredibly much during that tournament. Haven't really seen those 2 getting picked too much together in the first 2, but it looks like the retry are really... They have a lot of faith in their global ganking potential as well as just map controlling in that regard. And Yoki has been playing Prophet quite a bit, to be fair, and Eat played it yesterday as well. Yeah. So this is one of their core heroes, go-to heroes, and well, it's definitely 2 very different types of drafting we've got on our hands right here.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see how they're going to use this EO or Wisp. Do you say IO or EO? What is your preference? IO. Oh, okay.
IO.
IO. I'm an EO kind of guy, but I might be able to switch it up. I might be able to, for the other team, might be able to be persuaded. But I'm curious what they're going to do with him here, and who they're going to pair with it. Qpad have banned out the Chen, and going to leave most of those scary pairings on the field, at least for now. We'll see what they do with the 4th ban. Of course, CK, Tiny, Ursa, the 3 that come to mind is that classic combo. But even the IO Gyrocopter is something we've seen work pretty well. Still a lot of options for the retry. The thing with Wisp is always he needs that early experience. If you can shut down the Wisp, prevent that level 6 as long as possible, that can be a golden ticket to victory.
5 seconds.
Very much so. It's one of the most level-dependent supports as far as the early game goes, because Wisp, while it does provide quite a bit with the Spirits and Tether, it's still really important for it to get the relocate going to really unlock the hero's potential in terms of global control. So. Yeah. Qpad, however, will be getting an Abaddon, and whether or not this is a position 4 or 5 Abaddon remains to be seen. It's possible that they're running it on a carry position because they already got Visage and don't really have anything to combine it with. So, yeah, I'm thinking here in terms of synergy, Abaddon and Visage don't really have too much synergy together on a lane. One of them is really a hardcore, aggressive kind of support. Visage wants to go in and start dealing damage and get off soul assumption, whereas Abaddon is a little more laid back and passive. So, yeah, don't really see too much of a synergy between these 2 supports in particular, to be fairly honest, unless if the retry go for an aggressive tri lane, where then you can kind of fight back by using their kits together.
Yeah. And I was thinking that perhaps Abaddon could be lining up to pair with Bristleback or maybe a Weaver. Of course, Bristleback was first banned by the Qpandas themselves. So I suppose it could be a Weaver final pick if that's something they wanted to do. They are going to grab the Windrunner here, who will probably be in the off lane, but she also plays that position 4, position 5 on many an instance. So you might be right on with this... higher priority Abaddon. I was about to say carry Abaddon. I don't know that that's such a thing, but
it can be.
Farm priority Abaddon. I suppose it can. He does have that slow mixed in. I don't even know what it's called. The Curse of Avernus. Interesting that it's still called Curse of Avernus, even though he's no longer he's not Avernus, but Ursa going to be that pick for TR. So I'm very curious to see what Qpad want to do with this final pick, because this draft so far, I'm having trouble seeing a lot of synergy amongst their 4 heroes.
I hope the last pick for them makes it make a little bit more sense, but of course we have to be here guessing since we don't know what types of lanes they're going to run. Abaddon Windranger is a really strong dual lane off lane actually, and if they do that then the Visage pick can be combined with another support on the easy lane. If they run dual lanes it makes a lot more sense what they're getting into right here, but playing a dual lane against Wisp Ursa might not be the easiest task. It's a kind of scary lane, and Ursa gets very strong, and his main problem in terms of laning phase is that he's melee and has a hard time getting in and dealing the damage. IO kind of helps a lot with that, with the tether, and you can't bring down an Ursa with 2 heroes in the lane. It's almost impossible. This hero is innately very tanky, he has a high strength gain, has high base armor, and loves to go for a poor man's shield. And when you combine that with an IO helping him out, you simply aren't going to kill him, and he will get farm on that lane if you don't run 3 against him.
Yeah. So, final ban will be Enigma from Qpad, choice that I guess would have worked pretty well for the retry here. They could have just thrown him in the jungle, Io and Ursa in the safe lane, off lane Nature's Prophet, and, well, Viper in the mid. That actually not a bad ban, would have given a lot of teamfight synergy. And we'll see what the retry want to take off the table. They're thinking about it, though. They're probably in the similar conundrum that we are right now, with where the hell are they going with this roster, and what do we want to ban out? What could they possibly be looking for that final pick? And, well, their guess is as good as ours, I think, at this point.
It's hard to tell. I don't know what the retry is banning. I think they will ban something that's just generally good against their heroes, such as, for example, a Nyx Assassin is good against what they have, Storm Spirit is actually incredibly good against what they have, and Qpad could run that in an easy lane scenario. I think it's the best pick right now for them. Storm counters Prophet, he counters Io, and the 2 other heroes on TR don't have any stuns, any silence, nothing. Counter Storm right here. It's an incredible pick.
Yeah.
Would love to see Qpad realize that and go for it, because I think it's the best hero they can pick.
Yeah.
But they might have something else in mind. Razor is going to be banned out. They're going to go for, okay, they have this in mind already. They instantly pick the Drow and will be playing that. Now, my main concern for them is that if TR get a good initiator now, do they have what it takes to take these fights against the retry when they start going global and start using their full potential? And I would partially agree with the Enigma being a good ban, but at the same time, there's one thing the retry lack, and that's a good initiator, and I don't think Enigma is what they're looking for. They will be looking for someone to go in first, such as a Clockwork could work here. Maybe even the Nyx Assassin that I talked about, also very good against Outworld Devourer, with the mana burn for the mid-late game. Incredible counter, I have to say. If you watch that in action sometimes, these 800 damage mana burns aren't no joke.
Whoa.
But they're gonna go, okay, fair enough. We get some new heroes in this game. Yeah. We never see Ursa, Skywrath, or Drow, and we get all 3 of them in the same draft. This is really going to be interesting. Not really my choice for an initiator here, to be honest. The Skywrath Mage, not the best of initiator, but at least he has a long-range slow to give a setup, and the silence, most importantly, to allow Nubik on that Ursa to do what he wants.
Yeah, I'm still surprised to see them skip over Clockwork, though, just because I think he works so well against Dro. Of course, with her ultimate, always important to go over since we don't see her too often. If you get up in her face, heroes within a 400 AoE area of where she's standing, she loses that marksmanship ultimate, that bonus agility. So she really needs to stay back, and Clockwork is a hero that can just get right up in her face with cogs come out, nowhere for her to go, and that really limits what Dro can do. She's a hero that absolutely needs space, and that's one of the things that Clockwork does best, get rid of said space. But still going to be interesting to see Skywrath. I can't say I'm too upset about it, and we'll see the Qpad team here, all 5 smoked up. Kind of curious where they're headed here. I don't think this is a team that can do a level 1 Roshan, which seems to be where they're heading. And
they want to scout it out.
Yeah,
it's because TR can do it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ursa and Treants are enough to do Roshan.
Fair enough.
Those 2 heroes alone can actually do it. But, yeah, even this pause with PGG ping 712 might actually convince Qpad that there's even more here. It seems a little bit like a strategic pause. Okay, so we're going Roshan. We're going to pause now, and then they're going to think, oh, okay, they're just going to be laid back, fine. Finally, we're going to resume, then the game's going to start, oh shit, level 1 Roshan, and then it's too late. So maybe Qpad actually think they're onto something here, but they couldn't be further from the truth. TR is very far away. There's not going to be any pickup for Qpad, and I think they smoked only to check Roche. I don't see the smoke going anywhere else. It's almost expiring, and now Blue Banana will realize, okay, smoke's not breaking, nobody's in there. Durham is even going to face check. I'm not sure why. There was no way after the smoke didn't break close to there, but gotta go back to their lanes. 100 gold out the window, but the safety of not losing Roshan is probably worth it.
Yeah. I would agree, and especially since that seems to be kind of the flavor of the week. We've seen it attempted. Is it twice now? We've seen it attempted. I think, yeah, twice we saw teams try and do level 1 Roche. So, well, with a roster like this, fair enough indeed. So it looks like Eid and Nubik going to be down here in the bottom lane on the side of TR. Of course, they are Dire, and that will be Nubik on the Ursa. Eid going to be playing on the EO. Looks like it will be a tri lane. They're going to be joined by whoever this is on the Skywrath. He changed his name to be Twitch. What was his name in the draft? I feel like it was there. And,
no fear.
That's who it is. No Fear. There we go. He's going to reconnect. Maybe that'll update his name. Maybe that's what this pausing bit is about. So, okay, that is No Fear. It is going to be a tri-lane. Yoki going to be solo mid on the Viper. And, of course, PGG here going to be solo safe lane on the Nature's Prophet. On the Radiant side, we've got the Qpandas with 3 stand-ins, unfortunately. One of the stand-ins going to be RMN on the Visage down here in the bottom. He'll be joining Blue Banana, one of the Qpad members, on the Dro Ranger. In the mid, stand-in Villic going to be on the OD. And up top will be another duo lane. Stand-in SLHZ will be on the Windrunner, and Durham going to be here on the Abaddon. And I'm actually going to take a look at this Windrunner's profile and see if that's someone that we recognize under a silly name, but I'm going to venture to say it's not. Someone from Switzerland. He's Swiss. Nope, it's just...
no Swiss pro players.
Croissant?
We come to mind.
Name sound familiar? Now I don't know.
Croissant.
SLHZ, I don't know. I've got nothing here, so... Who knows? We'll see how he fares here. As you mentioned, he's going to have to prove to us that he's a Dota player, so hopefully he can achieve that. So I couldn't resist. That well. So
yeah, okay. Fair enough. So, interesting lanes as well. Like, there's nothing in this draft that I'm expecting. The dual lanes out of Qpad were an option that I was mentioning, but it's generally not what you want to do when you have a Drow Ranger, because this hero really needs help in the start, and it's its biggest weakness. It has a pretty weak laning phase, and then it needs items to start progressing well. And TR is going to run an aggressive trial lane against that with their Ursa. And at the same time, we don't have Prophet in the offlane because of that. He's going to play easy lane against Windranger alone, because Abaddon has now rotated down to the bottom lane. I think this is the right choice for Qpad. Windranger is going to be fine top, and they will need help down here in the bottom lane, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one of the issues for this tri-lane from the side of TR is, as I mentioned, Wisp a hero that needs a lot of experience, and in a dedicated tri-lane like this, where both Skywrath and EO are sharing that experience with Ursa, it's going to be slow going, and it's going to be a while before he hits level 6 and grabs that relocate, pardon me. And on top of that, if the Qpandas somehow manage to get a couple of kills here and slow down the momentum of this tri-lane, it can very quickly go south for Wisp. So I would really coin this a gamble from TR, the way they set up these lanes. I'd like to see the Skywrath Mage rotate out of the lane a little bit, maybe pressure into the jungle if possible, just to open up a little bit more experience. We'll see how
in my book, this is a really weak tri-lane that TR has set.
Yeah.
Wisp, IO together with Ursa is really good, but Skywrath Mage doesn't really have much synergy with this lane.
I don't see it
won't provide what they are really looking for, I believe. And while the silence is all good, I feel like it has to go on Abaddon, because if it doesn't, he'll just shield the guy they're going on, and that guy is gonna either fight back or run away. And Visage, a great laning hero to have against Ursa as well, has that very fast slow that lasts for a long time. Here we go, there we're gonna go, and this is just how it's gonna go down.
Yeah,
like,
exactly
I don't
right.
think TR will be claiming anything from this, unless Blue Banana actually chose to turn around, so they do get some harassment out, but now Visage almost gonna force Eid to use his salve here.
Yeah, and look at this.
It is chaotic.
Bouncing the targets back and forth, exactly what Abaddon brings to the table, but maybe they can be able to turn it around. Those frost arrows starting to add up onto the Ursa. He's trying to turn and make it back. Will turn to get into some fog, but looks like he's going to double back. He will use the salve, the healing salve. I'm trying here. PGG now going to come in on the Nature's Prophet. They're going to turn it around. Blue Banana in big trouble. He's going to get the Aphotic Shield. One last attack from the Wisp will secure the first blood, but it's going to cost him an Ursa. A 1-for-1 to start it off. Now the Abaddon going to fall, but again, they're going to have to move into the tower. Visage going to stand his ground. Down goes the Skywrath, and now PGG. Oh no, he's going to fall. Blue Banana, he's back in the mix. Eid going to take a Frost Arrow to the, I was going to say face, but Wisp really doesn't have a face. Still taking some frost arrows though.
Take a frost arrow to the balls.
Yeah, to the. He does have spirit balls. So a very chaotic exchange here, but
I don't even know where to start on that fight. That was so weird in every aspect. I don't feel like analyzing it too much in depth, because it seemed like both teams were just trying a bit of a crazy initiation, to be fair.
Yeah.
And Qpanda coming out way ahead. Prophet TP'd down, and they still lost the exchange, 4 versus 3. So this means Windranger has now effectively won her top lane because PGG can't be there anymore. Well, at least. Of course he could be there, but he's almost 2 levels behind.
Look at that farm difference. 26 and 6 on the Windranger. Prophet is 5 and 2 right now. Of course he had to port down to... and that hindered his farm, but only 5 creep kills. Wow, this Windranger is going to be a force to be reckoned with. In the mid, OD almost in a little bit of trouble here, but I don't think they're going to be able to get him. He's in a very defensive position, tucked behind the trees, and actually no fear going to rotate over as well, so they're going to commit quite a bit to this and try and set up a kill on OD. I don't think it's going to be successful, though. Windranger still farming. Now Eid going to go top on the Wisp, and that leaves a solo Ursa in the long lane. I don't...
What's the Skywrath doing?
Huh? Oh,
he just
didn't even see
ran
it.
past Villic, hit him twice, and got killed.
I
have no idea.
I was more worried about the Ursa in the solo lane down here, but PGG now, he's going to be in a similarly weird position and just going to get obliterated as Windranger comes down, and I think Nubik going to be in some trouble here. There's a Frost Arrow. The Skywrath is back, that nice short respawn timer, a few more Frost Arrows, and the Ursa is going to be able to scurry away, as will the Skywrath, but this is one of the stranger games that we've casted here. In the mid, Villic and Yoki going toe-to-toe. Oh, Yoki going to turn and stand his ground. A smart play from the Viper. He will be able to survive with just about 50 hit points to spare, and OD going to head back to the well.
It's really important for TR that they're winning this lane, because it's not going well on the other fronts. This Viper has to be a strong player for them in this game with the start they've had. I know we're only 6 minutes in, but this has really not gone TR's way in the beginning, I have to say, so... He's gonna have to step up and provide some good plays here, and I'm really confused with what just happened. I don't know if No Fear had just simply misclicked his pathing or something, but he ran past a hero that was 3 times as strong as him and just got hit down. So really, really odd so far this game. But
I absolutely missed it. I saw him rotating towards mid, but was not thinking that Skywrath was going to move into the mid and just get soloed by OD like that. I was
PGG porting bottom, here we go.
Yep. Oh, he's going to port bottom, and now they're going to engage. That's going to be a Sprout out on the Visage. He'll take a good bit of damage, but Skywrath actually taking a lot here as well. The Visage is just too tanky. He's going to survive. They'll turn. That's the end of the Skywrath. Now the rest of the fight going to unfold. Blue Banana going to be in some trouble. He will get an Aphotic Shield and run away. Durham going to get the suicide off. Very nice. He did turn. I thought it may cost him his life, and well, it did, but in a much different fashion. He'll take control of his own fate and will commit suicide. So a great exchange there for the Qpandas. RMN still alive. He's hiding in the trees. Not enough mana to port out right now, so he's just going to hold steady, and we'll be okay. But this tower now
finish off the kill on Visage. I'm really surprised. Nubik just started going for a new target. Everybody just abandoned the Visage who was really low. Seems like some really crucial miscommunication going on right here. The Visage is still off to the side. Now he finally ports home.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Gonna make it.
Very, very, very confusing what's going on. To me, it seems like TR don't know what they want to do in these fights. They're going on different targets. They're not combining their spells in the way I would expect them to. The initiation they got with PGG was all good. They just didn't kill the guy they had isolated. The Visage could have gone down really fast, and then they could have gone for the next target, but they didn't kill him.
I don't know. I guess they just figured he was too tanky. They better abandon ship, but I agree. He pretty much burned everything that he was going to burn. He was a pretty easy target at that point. But TR will be able to grab themselves the first tower kill of the match following that successful team fight. It is the tier 1 down in the bottom, though Windranger up top, notably doing some damage to this tier 1 tower and going to get it into deny range here. Eid going to port up, so Windrunner going to feel very confident here. Glyph will be used, but may be able to turn in and finish off that tower. Meanwhile, on the bottom, TR is still grouped up, and it looks like they may want to find an initiation here. Skywrath Mage going to throw some of those spells out the way of Blue Banana as well as RMN. But the initiation not going to come as Qpandas do take a very defensive posture. Up top, this tower at 50 hit points, and Wisp probably going to get the deny. PGG may just come in and deny it. Yep, that's going to go down. So at least a little gold going the way of Qpandas here, but that tower will be denied. Now down in the bottom, PGG going to port in. Windranger going to be in some trouble. Will get caught in the Sprout. Just going to try and port out. Is going to make it. Going to make the right call there. Now how's the rest of the fight going to unfold? OD just going to walk through the team. He will survive now, and PGG just going to get dropped. Windranger now in the mix. There's the Sanity's Eclipse coming out from Villic. Yoki going to fall. Nubik, he's actually going to die to the tower. Down he goes. A big overcommit from TR right there. I don't think they were under enough pressure to warrant diving that tier 2 as ferociously as they did. I just combined veracity and ferocious. Ferocious.
Ferocious.
Ferocious, that's not a word, but ferocious dive.
I don't know what's going on. This solo lane Prophet is now... He's level 5 at 9 minutes. This is when you want to be level 7 or 8. And
yeah,
the Viper didn't use his ultimate in that fight. The OD had already used the Astral Imprisonment on someone else, and Viper was next to him. And like you said, he ran through the team. He could have taken a Viper out there and probably been brought down, but TR, I'm very, very confused with what's going on right now. Also, even the initiation there, trying to dive this tier 2 tower like this, I'm not sure what they're expecting, but their plays so far in this game seem to have been a little bit naive with what they think they can get away with, and now this Ursa is actually level 4 at 9 minutes in. The IO is level 6.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to watch, but they're going to try to get Roshan here.
And yeah, this is a little bit scary. He doesn't have a Vlad's or any sort of sustain, so they're going to alternate tanking here, but I don't think they're going to be able to do this. I mean, maybe is there a mech on Yoki? Nope, not quite. I mean, they might be able to take Roche down here, but it's going to be a little bit rough. They're all going to be very, very low, and if Qpandas are the least bit suspicious, they'll be able to clean this up, and it actually doesn't look like they are. I'm surprised that TR are going to get away with this here. But
Nubik desperately needs this. Now he picks up his level 5.
Yeah.
He's still way off. I'm surprised he gets the Aegis. I think it's better on someone else right now than the Ursa. Give it to the Viper, who can really... He's a strong hero right now and can put it to better use. Oh, Villic mid is going to get slowed as well as silenced, but Abaddon is there.
Yep.
No contest.
Yep, Skywrath Mage not going to have quite enough. Skywrath, another one, still doesn't have the ult, the flare. Not on the field quite yet. And we'll see if a fight starts to transpire here in the mid. PGG going to port in. He actually is going to port into tower range, so he's going to take quite a few tower shots to start off this engage. Villic taking a fair bit. Now Nuba going to get very aggressive as Wisp has relocated him in, but it's going to cost him his life. That egg is down already. Eid just going to get obliterated as the shackle connects, and I think Nuba going to fall once again here. Yep, of course, down he goes. Visage with the double kill.
These plays from TR are straight suicidal.
Yeah, that really was. They... into the tower.
I'm having a really hard time understanding what their mindset is with the fights they've taken, the lanes they put, and the ways they've actually had a good shot. That's the worst part about it. I think on this bottom lane, if they just were on the same page with what they were doing, they'd be looking okay right now. But they're really not coordinated as a squad in this game, which surprises me a little bit, because the last game we saw from them have actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
They put up a really good fight against SSD and actually ended up beating them. And the game after that, I think they were doing very well as well. Unless if I am mistaken on that. This is a totally different team.
Yeah, and it's weird because that's the team that has their full roster here. Everyone's tagged up TR. TGG will point to the bottom. And Qpandas, they're the ones with 3 stand-ins. 2 of them, or 1 of them at least, we've never even heard of before. Whoever this SLHZ guy is, and they seem to be at least pretty well coordinated, especially considering 3 stand-ins. So this is... it's certainly not what I would have expected. I'm on the same page as you, my friend. And at this point, I mean, this gold graph, not as bad as you would think. Only about a 1,200 lead for Qpandas, though they do have a pretty sizable experience lead here, upwards of about 4,500. And
a 12-minute mech as well on the Visage. That's the scary part, is the distribution of golden XP. Oh, PGG is going to get caught off jungling in the enemy's territory. SLHC will pick that up. I don't know where to go from TR from here. They are going to probably get a pick here on Villic, unless if he manages to TP out in time. Will not. Ursa gets that very important kill for him. That's his level 6. Finally, Nubik will be able to get that Enrage ability. The problem for TR, though, is, in my opinion, their lineup needs to get off to a good start. This is not a lineup that plays well from behind whatsoever. They don't have the disables, they don't have the AoE abilities to make big plays. They need to make skirmishes. So if Qpad can group up as 5 now and start pushing towers, what does TR really have to respond with in their draft?
Yeah, oh, Wind Ranger almost in a little bit of trouble. Will be able to force Staff out of the Sprout and does survive. Ursa takes out the top tier 1, and TR will grab this tier 1 in the mid. So
suddenly, 2 towers.
A huge tower exchange here. There's only been 1 kill by our Radiant side, and it was denied. So that's where this gold graph is coming in here, with TR now breaking even and probably going to pull into the lead for a moment here. And,
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
With the position Qpad are in, I'm really surprised they just lost 2 towers as well. It's kind of confusing. They're not keeping too much lane control at this point. Grouping up 3 heroes bottom won't accomplish too much with this. Need to move a little bit smarter here, not try to go for these tower pushes when they're at a disadvantage in lane positioning. Push out your lanes first, then go for the move. They end up conceding to a losing team. They just conceded 2 tier 1 towers for nothing.
Yeah, it's true. And again, that gold graph now way in the favor of TR, about 1,500. Obviously, experience graph not going to be altered too much here. Dro going to be working towards what I can only assume is a BKB. He does have an Ogre Club now in the bank to go with the Power Treads and that opening Wraith Band. And, well, on the Dire side, at least some core items are coming out here. Ursa does now have a Vlad's at level 7, so that is his first core item here. And Viper actually going to grab himself a Yasha, an interesting choice. I would have thought Mech would be the opener here for Yoki, especially given that there's no Mech out for TR, and the Visage has one. But no, not going to go for Mech, just wants the movement speed. Interesting.
Yeah. Very interesting indeed. I think the mechanism would have been a really good choice here because it's where TR need to reinforce their lineup a bit. They need to survive the AoE damage and burst that Qpanda have. They do have the OD ultimate, they do have Power Shot, Visage with both his nukes and the birds. There's a lot of damage that they can potentially mitigate with a mechanism, but alternatively, maybe TR realize, okay, Yoki, you're in the best position of all of us right now. You're gonna have to carry. So I can't really afford to get a mech on you. You have to get damage items. So we have someone who can control a bit more in the fights and do some more damage, and then hopefully Io will be able to pick up a mech in the near future. He's actually on 1,700 gold EAD. Here comes Relocate. Where are they going? They're going into the mid.
Yeah, there's an Astro to start things off onto Yoki. Now they're gonna go forward here. So far, the Aphotic Shield going to absorb a good bit of damage. OD is level 11, so can throw out a big Sanity's Eclipse. There it is. That'll be the end of the Nature's Prophet. Viper going to fall as well. The Relocate going to keep Ursa alive, as well as Wisp. But, oh man, Skywrath barely going to escape that last Visage nuke. Now, Eid might not get off scot-free, but does have a Haste Rune, and that will ensure his survival. That OD ult, I was just waiting for it. And that OD basically one-shotted the Nature's Prophet right there. He just got melted. I mean, he's got no stats, phase boots into Handamitis, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but he had just juiced.
And looking at the golden XP, this is almost unreal. They're 9 kills ahead. They have really good farm compared to TR's heroes overall over when you look at it, but the graph is not really much in their favor. But still...
Well, that may change here as they take out this tier 3 tower.
It will. TR can't really defend this, and now we're getting to the point I was talking about where when this lineup starts getting a 5-man fight, I don't know whether TR can actually fight back.
Yeah. And that's about where it's at. I mean, they have that surprise factor with the global presence, but I don't really agree with PGG's choice here to grab the Midas. Because I think they just need something a little bit more utilitarian at this point. Even a Force Staff, a Necro Book, something. The Midas, I think it's really never going to kick in here. I mean, he might be able to break even on the farm that it gives before this match is going to be at that kind of crucial point. So I worry about that late hand of Midas pickup on the Prophet.
The most important thing for TR now, though, is to push out the lanes. Really get some momentum going onto the other side of the river, so that Qpad needs to split up. And then when they split up to push out the lanes, try to get relocate ganks. You have Prophet, Io that really want to do this, but they haven't really been able to because the first moves they made were, to be fair, really not that well executed, and now they've ended up in a position where they have to fight to get these ganks. They have to fight for them, where if they were in a good position, they would almost be given to them. So it's a lot harder. It's going to be an uphill battle for TR, but like we said, we looked at the golden EXP. It's not really a lead that they cannot come back from,
right.
I feel, with their lineup. But it's going to be hard. It's not an easy task.
It's hard at this point. It looks like they will have a mech pretty soon here. Wisp has those first 2 core pieces and about halfway to that recipe, so that is a step in the right direction. Ursa, looking like he may be going towards a BKB, does have an Ogre Club now to follow up that Vlad's phase boot opener. And, well, Prophet now with the Staff of Wizardry. Could be a Force Staff, could be a Necro Book. Hard to say which one he's going to go for here. But the Visage has really been having a great game so far. The stand-in RMN, he is 7-0-6 at present. He's been involved in 13 of the 14 kills that the Qpandas have been able to grab. Of course, the Familiars make grabbing those assists a little bit easier, but still a very, very active Visage thus far, which has really done a lot for Qpandas. Here, we're going to see Durham poured in. Borrowed Time going to get proc just about right away. Yoki gonna burn the ultimate onto Visage to start things off, but this Visage very tanky, gonna be able to survive. Yoki now gonna get shackled, it will latch, he's gonna fall. Eid gonna be in big trouble here, and OD gonna force that forward as he tries to tether to the Ursa. He is going to survive for now, but I think they're going to continue to pursue this. Yep. Going to wait for that next Force Staff rotation. Perhaps Power Shot going to be off the mark.
Just starts fighting the Centaur.
I was just, oh wow, he's just like, yeah, let me just snag this Centaur real quick. Oh shit, they're still coming. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I think TR got away with that very well, actually. Yeah. Only losing one hero in that exchange, and they still got the tier 1 tower top and start split pushing with Prophet bottom. OD ult was used and only got 1 kill, and it's a very important ability for Qpad right now because it's their strongest teamfight ability, and when this is down, they don't have the same teamfight presence, obviously, as they do with it, so maybe TR can get something done here. PGG tries to get the courier. Oh, 4 HP. He doesn't have the damage yet to bring it down in 2 shots.
Oh, bummer. Part of that Midas, I'm telling you. I don't know. I just don't know sometimes. Things are getting worse for TR, though. They just can't find favorable exchanges about the map. It is going to be a Force Staff for PGG, so just going utility here. And that is going to slow down the mech even more here, as Wisp did take another trip back to the well. And Qpandas, they're just going to keep the pressure on, and they very well should. They're just going to take out this top tier 2, and I think they'll continue to press forward. They don't have the OD ult. That's really the big thing that they're missing, but I think they still should be fine to take a team fight. Dro now has a BKB, so Blue Banana going to start to hit a little bit harder, and almost level 11 as well.
Skywrath just dropped his ulti on the OD. He just moved 1 step back and didn't take too much damage. So now that is on cooldown for Skywrath. Also, his skill build is very unusual. He's got 2 points in every skill instead of maxing out one particular skill. And TR, they're trying to split push. They're trying to get the bottom tier 2 and the mid tier 2. Currently at the cost of their tier 3. Not really a good exchange here. And TR might have just lost the opportunity to go in, but they are going to try regardless.
Yeah, here's the relocate. They're going to hop forward, and oh, a Shackle actually going to latch on 2 heroes right there. Nubik and Yoki both going to take a power shot. And this tower is definitely going to fall. It is going to get denied, but still a very small victory for TR. Their glyph is now down, so Qpandas can take a fight here and just chip away at these barracks, especially the ranged racks, which of course do not regenerate on those hit points. Still, they've got the right idea here. They're doing this very slow and steady. Blue Banana in the front lines will burn that BKB. Viper's going to get taken down, meanwhile, up top. And now Villic going to press forward. That's going to be the end of Eid. He does have that Sanity's Eclipse coming up in about 8 seconds, but he's not going to live to use it. He's going to try and pour it out, and it is going to cost him his life. Skywrath the Mage going to fall, though. Now Nubik taking a good amount of damage here. Very chaotic across both sides. Buybacks have been burned. 1 on the Viper, 1 on the Wisp. And that is going to keep this fight going for TR here. They will lose their melee rack. They're going to be able to grab a kill on the Dro. A suicide on the Abaddon, and Qpandas will get cleaned up. So I guess TR do hold here. They might be able to grab another kill on the Wind Ranger. A dieback coming out for Eid. Nope, SL's HZ just going to pour it out, and he will survive. So I guess a hold from TR, but I say that very loosely as they burned 2 buybacks and did also lose their melee barracks.
Yep. Once Qpad are in this position, they're looking good. That fight, once again, a little strange, but next time they're going to have the OD ult, and then there's not going to be any doubt which direction that team fight is going to go in, who's going to come out victorious. And like you said, Eid did buy back, so no mechanism available, and they desperately need that against the OD, I feel, to be able to heal back up after they get bursted with that. Well, regardless, they, like you said, they do hold. They're going to go for the Roshan here. Viper, meanwhile, trying to push up the top a little bit, and Prophet will get the Illusion Rune here. So TR, actually, after defending that, have managed to get into a pretty good position map control-wise. Mid and bottom are on the enemy side of the river. The top lane also gaining some momentum. Of course, it's against stronger melee creep, so it will push back the other way, but PGG now going to help out with that. And another free Roshan by the very trailing TR here.
That will be Ursa's BKB now, following that successful Roshan. And we see PGG posting the time for everyone, so that's good. Now everyone knows exactly when Rosh will be coming back. Not sure if that was intentional or not.
Oh, PGG.
Oh, PGG.
Oh, BKB on Ursa.
Yep.
Big item alert. This is huge for TR. This is their chance in the next fight. It's something we didn't talk so much about yet, but the damage types of Qpad are highly magical. The only real physical damage dealer is Drow, but when Ursa gets in close, she loses the marksmanship, and then she's suddenly not so scary anymore. But here we go. This is going to be the game-deciding fight coming out right here.
No glyph available, so the rack's going to fall very quickly here. TR ready to hold, but they're not going to be able to keep their melee racks alive. Nubik going to pop that BKB. He's going to go in the front line. Skywrath again going to be off the mark with the ult. They're just kiting around this Ursa right now. Visage did fall, and I'm looking at the Ursa here. Nubik, now that the BKB is off, well, he's going to get dropped. Aegis going to bring him right back up, but now PGG going to go down. Yoki going to try and stand his ground. That's not going to work out too well for him. The buyback comes from PGG. Ranged rack's going to take heavy pressure, and Nubik is here, but without that BKB up, going to be hard-pressed. Oh, a beautiful shackle on PGG and Nubik. That'll make it 2 easy kills. Now No Fear going to be the lone defender as he did buy back. And like you said, Cinder, in the game-deciding fight, and it looks like Qpandas will be able to secure a victory here.
Doesn't look like TR is ready to call the GG right now, but their chances of coming back in this game are close to 0. There's not much hope for them at this point. They're 2 racks down against a superior lineup in terms of team fighting, and
they're going for the tier
just
4s.
brute forcing potential here. And like you said, they'll just try to continue. They will get 1 tier 4. I don't think they have to go back.
Yeah. The problem is this tier 2 tower in the bottom is still standing, so they can't just mega creep it and make it official quite yet, and they don't have enough time, but they will back out. Gonna play it safe. Not a GG quite yet, but I think the fate of this match has been pretty much sealed here. Looking at the gold graph, still not that crazy. Only 7,500 gold. Experience graph not super insane as well. I feel like that's a bit misleading now with 2 lanes of racks down. Qpandas just have so much momentum here, so much map control. TR are going to have to use at least 2 of their members here on pretty much full-time defensive duty until they push out these lanes.
And with the amount of buybacks TR have used as well, they haven't really made item progression whatsoever. There's the only guy who really has significant item progression is Ursa, who picked up the BKB. But he did lose the Aegis last fight and die again. Finally, the mech comes out for Eid now at 25. But I'm afraid it's too little too late, and Qpad will just go for this tier 2. I don't think TR want to fight for this one. They'll have to fight inside the base, but I don't think Qpad will go back. I think they'll just continue. And now Drow is starting to rack up some really significant items as well, and this is when that hero can get very scary. She's starting to hit very hard, not easy to bring down anymore because of her BKB as well as the good support coming out from her allies, and here we go, tier 3.
Yep, they're going to go in again. Another Skywrath ulti, not quite on the mark, but will zone out Qpad a little bit. Ursa going to come in, compliments of the Wisp, going to get right up in Dro's face, and that'll drop her right away, but Nature's Prophet going to fall right after, and they're just continuing to kite this Ursa around until the BKB's off. Now they can stand their ground. That's the end of Nubik. Now Yoki going to be the target of choice, and they should be able to bring this Viper down pretty easily. And, well, they're going to secure it with the Sanity's Eclipse, just to make sure. But now this tier 3 going to be exposed. A glyph event, well, it's a weird thing to say. That tier 3 was always exposed, but they'll be able to move on to the tower now as there's no heroes in the way. And, yeah, glyph available. Visage actually did fall in the mid lane, but the ultra kill comes out for Villic. And with that, PGG's had enough. They're ready to tap out, and Qpandas take the win.
Chaotic game. You've got to say Qpad just played it better. Played a more organized game, more organized fights. Individually made the better decisions as well as moves, and in my opinion TR way overzealous on some of their moves, got kind of desperate very early on and had some lack of communication in their early engagements, which put them in a really bad position. So it was a hard game for them from then on, and Qpad just take advantage of it and get themselves a win here.
Yeah, absolutely. Wind Ranger, the stand-in that we have not heard of, SLHZ, going to have a flawless match in terms of KDA, 5-0-15. So a pretty convincing Wind Runner. A stand-in maybe to look out for in the future, at least now we know the name. But, yeah, TR.
He's definitely a player.
Definitely a player, that's for sure. So, unfortunate for TR, though. I think some rares were lost on this one, Synderin. I think TR were definitely the favorites coming into it, certainly with the stand-in ratio here. And, like you said, really seemed to be a different team from what we saw the other day. So, hopefully they can work out whatever it was causing their seemingly communication issues, as a lot of those team fights were sort of in disarray. But that wraps up our coverage today. We will be back tomorrow, and this is that point where the schedule starts to get funky. We've had 2 teams in Starladder Season 8 now disband throughout the round robin, of course. They are Four Friends and Krilly and Aspera. So that's part of the reason the schedule is so messed up now, why we only had 2 matches today, because there were Aspera/4FC matches scheduled normally for today. And we did have a 3rd originally, but it got canceled last minute. And I'm pulling up the schedule here. Tomorrow, December 21st, Mouse versus Fnatic will be our first game starting at 18 CET, so still starting an hour later than normal. Then we'll have 3 games after that: PR versus OSG, Qpad versus Flipside, and then Fnatic versus SSD. So kind of Fnatic day tomorrow, at least in 2 of the 4 matches, which we can look forward to. And then Sunday is going to be a whopper of a day here, Synderin, with 7 games, and all of them good ones. Fnatic in 3, Sigma in 2, Na'Vi in 2. Going to be chaos this weekend. So that's what we have to look forward to. That does wrap up our coverage today, though, folks. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit. I am Zyori. With me again is Synderin, and we will be back tomorrow, 1800 CET.